Hi, this is Coralla at CorallaFicklin.com, WelcomeNetwork.com, Welcome.com, iStudyGuides.com, iStudyCards.com, and to download any of my writings, you can go to Pedians, Pedians.com. Okay, I've tried this before, and I don't know how successful I was, but I'm going to keep trying because I think it's very important, and I'm talking about affixes. Affixes are prefixes, roots, and suffixes, and looking at a particular affix and how it's used in English. Okay, and they're very important. I think it's one of the dividing lines, and this is dividing line between English speakers who know their language relatively well and English speakers who don't know their language relatively well, and how English speakers who know their language relatively well understand that they can't memorize everything. That's not possible. But if you memorize certain key things, and when I say key things here, I'm talking about key affixes, then you're able to more or less guess what a word means. And you learn this to a certain extent in maybe grade school and high school, but a lot of times if the teacher doesn't know how to teach it and make it exciting, make it something that you want to learn, you will learn it enough to pass the exam, and maybe not even then, and then you'll quickly forget it. And this is especially important for those people who unfortunately live in homes in which either their parents can't talk to them a lot, or their parents don't talk to them a lot because they're either working or they themselves were never taught this. Okay, if you learn the important affixes in English, and there's quite a bit, and this is more the Latin and the Greek area of English. When I say Latin, I'm talking about, in Greek, I'm talking about ancient Greek, ancient Latin, or medieval Latin, or vulgar Latin. Alright. If you learn certain affixes, the more the better, of course. The more that you will be able to figure out words that you have never seen before. A lot of times these words are called SAT words, standardized test words, collegiate vocabulary, words that if you're brought up in a certain type of family, considered in many respects quite normal. But if you're not brought up in that type of family, these words can be quite daunting, quite difficult, and it can almost seem that these words aren't English. So let me give you some affixes. Now I'm talking here about suffixes. A suffix is that fragment or that part that goes at the end of the word. Okay, a prefix, P-R-E, means before, so it's the one that goes in the beginning. That's a prefix. Okay, now I'm not going to give you the prefix. That's not going to be, the prefix is going to be the thing that changes. What's going to remain consistent are going to be one of three suffixes. Now, the first suffix is, and once again I'm looking at the web page itself. This is the book I've compiled, okay? But this will be on the web page also, at least some of it. It's called phobe, P-H-O-B-E. So you're going to have something phobe. And phobe means a person who has an irrational, abnormal, or obsessive fear of something. Now the fear is the prefix. So the word that goes before phobe, that's what they have fear of. Okay. Phobia, okay, phobia, because I might say phobe or I might say phobia, is the fear itself. It's an irrational, abnormal, pertaining to an irrational, abnormal, or obsessive fear. Okay. Then it might be the word phobic. But you can see they basically mean the same thing. You know, one is the person, the other is the sickness or the fear itself, because some people would call it a sickness. Okay, and the other one is phobic. Okay, And that's pertaining to or suffering from, what is it? Irrational, abnormal, or obsessive fear. The word that goes before it is going to be the type of fear that you have. Okay. For example, agoraphobia. Okay. It's a fear of. Now you're going to say, well, how am I supposed to know that? Because agora is a prefix. And it has 3 meanings. And the meanings more or less are important, but it basically means crowds. It means a lot of people. It's from Greek, ancient Greek, and agora was like a marketplace. So agora means like crowd or a lot of people. Agoraphobia, okay, and phobia means, once again, an irrational, abnormal, obsessive fear. So take it, let's go backwards. Phobia, fear. Agora, crowd. So it's fear of crowds or fear of a lot of people. So if you were to study agora and then you were to study phobia or phobic, okay, then you would be more or less be able to figure out what that word means. And these are the words that you see on the SATs and GREs and all the different standardized tests that you need to get into a good, maybe to get into a good grade school. I'm not sure about grade school. Maybe a good secondary school, a good high school, a good university. This is the English part. Okay, let me give you another one. And I'm looking at what I've compiled. Okay, so once again, we're talking about phobia. All this is going to be phobia or phobic or the other one, phobe. Okay, so claustrophobia. So we already know we're talking about an irrational, obsessive fear of something. The claustro means close or shut. Okay, close or shut, claustro, right? A claustrophobia is an abnormal or irrational fear of being enclosed or in a narrow space. People who are scared of an elevator, for example, they have claustrophobia because they're scared to be in a place that is shut or narrow. Okay, that's claustrophobia. Let me see if I can give you another one. All right. Now we're talking about acro. No, I just skipped over it. So, okay. Acrophobia. Now, acro means height, highest point, topmost. Okay. So we're talking about a fear. And the word that goes before it is acro, and acro means height, highest point, topmost. So acrophobia is an unusual or abnormal fear of heights. Okay, because I don't want to run out of time here. And an acrophobe, because phobe is the suffix, which means the person who is fearful of these things. So an acrophobe is a person who has an unusual or abnormal fear of heights. Give you one more. Let me see if I can find one that's maybe a more common. Okay. We're talking about a phobia, and it's an abnormal, irrational fear of something. And then you have xeno, X-E-N-O, xeno. You hear this a lot. All right. Now, xeno means an alien, strange, a guest, someone that you don't know, culturally or racially. So therefore, to be a xenophobe or to have xenophobia, xenophobe means a person who has an unnatural or obsessive fear of persons who do not belong to their group, who are considered the stranger. I'm out of time. So once again, this is Corrala Ficklin at corralaficklin.com.